This is my match footage for the West End Gun Club LESA multi-gun match held on June 18th, 2022. We start off on stage 1, a fairly simple stage. On the timer, the shooter draws their handgun and eliminates all targets as they become visible. The paper targets are meant for pistol, while the steel knockdown targets are for shotguns. I managed to remember my reload from the stage planning. I could have also conducted this reload before entering the facade. I finish off the pistol targets and move on to the next shooting area and begin my shotgun engagements. As per the stage plan, the weapon goes into the barrel without a round in the chamber, and I must rack a shotgun shell into the chamber. My shotgun skills have improved since my last match, but still leave quite a bit to be desired. You can see the occasional miss, along with very long loading times. Even with the long loading times, I managed to finish off all of the remaining targets. My performance there netted me 17th out of 40 shooters, with 68.33% of the winner's score. If I had tightened up my shotgun skills, I would have most definitely been higher up in the ranks. Here we have stage 2, by far my worst stage. The shooter starts with their rifle, engages the paper targets, then dumps their rifle and goes to retrieve their shotgun. Here I take a little bit too much time trying to line up the shot. That could have been done a lot smoother. While the rifle portion had some hiccups, most of my mistakes came up on the shotgun portion of the stage. Right here I have a brain fart, forgetting to load my shotgun before engaging the 2 knockdown steel. I then imagined 2 targets on my left. Instead of engaging the 2 knockdown steel, I plan to engage midway through the stage. Here we have some issues from my previous match coming back up. My point of aim is ever so slightly off, and it takes me entirely too long to realize this. I do at least start topping off my shotgun, just to make sure that I still have some extra rounds to go into this. Again, still missing, still not correcting my point of aim. Finally, I load 2 more shells and engage the 2 targets I should have engaged while moving between my first and second shooting positions.
If you're finished, unload.
As mentioned, this was my worst stage, netting me 32nd out of 40 shooters with 33.07% of the winner's score. And from my worst stage to my best, stage 3 starts with the shooter engaging a clay bird before engaging the steel, then repeating this 2 more times until all the clay are gone. I miss here and have to retake my shot. Once this portion is over, the shooter moves to the next shooting box and engages the steel with 3 hits each. I have a tiny bit of an issue barreling my rifle. Thankfully, the 180 was not broken. Once all of this was done, the real fun begins. My pistol shooting skills have gotten a bit better, but I still take a little longer than needed and overshoot some of the targets. I also fail to do a reload before moving to my next position. Me forgetting to reload bites me in the butt, 3 targets left, and I have to conduct a slide lock reload. Even with some of the sloppiness in the stage, I still net 7th out of 40 shooters, with 82.48% of the winner's score. Conducting a reload and not overshooting some of my targets could have gotten me possibly 5th or 4th place. Stage 4 starts with a tricky lean. There are 2 targets on opposite sides of the bay. One must be shot from the left side, the other from the right side of the shooting position. Once this is done, the shooter moves into the second shooting area and engages the steel in the rear from each of the 4 ports. On this engagement, I was rushing through my shots. I should have just calmed down and taken my shots more methodically. As the shooter finishes, they dump their rifle, produce their handgun, and begin engaging the steel. The shooting order is fairly interesting. The static steel seen here must be engaged in pairs of 2 separately from each port. Here I make a mistake. Instead of engaging my third set of steel, I engage my second steel again. My confusion comes up here, costing me quite a bit of time.
You need to hit the Q right there in front of the paper.
Yeah, but which part did I miss?
Even with that, I still finish up the stage with one more miss for the road. Due to a whole host of factors, including my confusion and hitting one of the no-shoots, I land 18th out of 40 shooters. Stage 5 shows the importance of properly bracing against a barricade. The shooter must engage all the close steel before shooting the 50-yard steel. They must do this twice. They then engage 2 bonus targets at 100 yards. As you can see, I'm having quite a bit of difficulty here. A lot of this can be attributed to my stance and the way that I was braced against the prop here. I didn't realize how many rounds I went through, having to conduct a reload on a failure to lock back. Finally here I give up on bracing and just take the targets as I normally would. And for the 100-yard bonus targets, I foolishly go back to trying to brace my pistol against the prop. Finally with that done, frustrated, I empty my pistol, dump it, grab my rifle, and begin the rifle portion of this stage. My rifle shooting is at least a little bit better here. The shooter must engage the steel left to right, starting with the 200-yard targets, the 250-yard targets, and finally the 200-yard targets. Here you can see me adjusting my magnification as I move from target to target. Once finished with this prop, the shooter then moves to a secondary shooting position, repeating the same order and taking one final shot at a 210-yard bonus target, a 2x4 steel popper. Sadly, due to the somewhat finicky eye box of the scope, I had misplaced my reticle and did not get the 210-yard bonus target. With the lackluster pistol performance and those failed bonus targets, I get 16th out of 40 shooters with 51.41% of the winner's score. Overall, I placed dead middle with 62.41% of the winner's score. Thanks to this match, I now have multiple points I know I need to improve on.